What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So the Switch has been a sales beast for the MPDs for years now, it seems. Every time the report comes out, the Switch is #1, right, for dollar sales and units. Well, it seems that August was even crazier for the Switch, and we have to go back to the Wii just to get a comparison for a home console for Nintendo that's seeing the kind of success that the Switch is now. We're going to talk about that, as well as the #1 game for the MPDs, which will probably have you rolling your eyes at least a little bit. Also, the PlayStation 5. Originally, we had heard from reports that they were scaling up production to try to meet demand. Now it seems like they are scaling back production, and some of that could actually have to do with development of the chip that's in there right now. And it seems that they're even flying systems in to try to meet demand and stock. There's a lot of things going on right now behind the scenes for Sony leading up to the launch of this console. Has people a bit concerned about being able to get one, of course, at launch as well. As always, guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure you hit the like button, helps out a ton. And if you're brand new here, hit that red subscribe button down below. And we're going to start today with Halo 3 ODST, because we now know when it is coming to PC. Of course, we've seen 343 moving everything they can to PC now when it comes to Halo. They're going to try to finish the Master Chief Collection in a year for PC, getting everything ported over, and so far, so good. Halo plays awesome on there. If you play any of them, Halo 3, for example, is a great time on PC right now, but ODST is a bit different. You can see the tweet here. It says, Halo 3 ODST will officially arrive on PC as a part of the Master Chief Collection on September 22nd. Now, in this game, you play as an ODST, and it's not Master Chief. That was a strange thing, but it was a different perspective, and the story was interesting. There were actual names for characters that you're playing as, and it was a different take, I would say, on the Halo universe, but they had like Firefight, and that was really fun. And at the time, that was the only way to get certain maps. It came with like a multiplayer disc that had a certain map pack on it, and so we had to buy that to get another Halo 3 multiplayer disc, basically, to then just play Halo 3 online all over again. Yeah, it was strange, but it's cool to see this added to it, and that means the last game up, I guess, is Halo 4. I don't think they're going to bother doing Halo 5, because why? Just Halo Infinite's coming over. That's what most people will play anyway. I mean, maybe if they just have time and they don't have much to do until Infinite, maybe they will. I'd rather them continue updating Master Chief Collection, though, on PC rather than work to get 5 over. Also, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 is an awesome game that's come out recently. If you have not picked it up, I recommend it. I think it's completely worth the $40. I'm still playing it now, working to, well, 100% the game at this point, because I'm actually almost done Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 now, and then they have a whole challenge mode that you can go through to 100% that, so having a great time with it, and it looks like it is seeing quite a bit of success. You can see Activision tweeted this out here saying, it's official, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 is the fastest game to reach 1 million units sold through in franchise history. This is big, obviously, after what happened with Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5. I thought the series was just done. Like, that was it. Gone for good. But they decided to, of course, tap on nostalgia's shoulder and give us Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. Yes, nostalgia played a big part in this, but it worked. Revived the franchise here, and where do we go from here? Because it's clearly successful. Activision, I'm sure, is looking at what they can do next. Do we do 3 and 4, or do we go towards Underground? I think we're good with the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 or 3 and 4 style, since 1 and 2 has Revert in it. I think we go to Underground, or do we let Vicarious Visions attempt their own Tony Hawk Pro Skater game, a brand new one? It's decisions there. Oh, and check this out. We're all waiting, of course, for the end of October, when AMD is going to show off their new video cards, right? RDNA 2, big blowout, all this fun stuff. Or you can check it out now in Fortnite. No, I'm not kidding. Look at that. AMD tweeted this out, and I was very confused, unsure of why this was happening, but this is the way they're going with it for marketing. I guess people playing Fortnite would buy video cards, obviously. So, okay, sure, here we go. They say, take a first look at the design of the new Radeon RX 6000 series. Our upcoming AMD RDNA 2 graphics cards will feature a brand new cooler design, and you can study every angle yourself on our Fortnite Creative Island. So yes, log into Fortnite, and you can look all around this new RX 6000 with the new cooling design, and people were posting images of it up in the thread, and you just look around. It wasn't too detailed. They kind of just put it together so you could view it in Fortnite. The front of it with the triple fan design that they had here, the back, but for the most part, it's a basic design that they just wanted to show off. It's just marketing and promotion. Mix it in with Fortnite because Sure, everyone's on Fortnite, I guess, but hey, we just gotta wait still until the end of October to see these video cards. It feels like it's forever away considering we're all thinking about buying a new RTX card this week. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start right away with these ridiculous Nintendo Switch sales that don't seem to be slowing down. This was in August. We still have the holiday to go here, and Nintendo's going to have a massive holiday with the Mario 3D All-Stars Collection, of course, a new Hyrule Warriors game that is going to be canon with Breath of the Wild as a prequel that's going to cover an event that's going to be absolute insanity to see play out in kind of the Warriors universe there. I think it's going to be really fun. And then, of course, Animal Crossing, which is it's just always selling, right? So let's go to Matt Piscatella, who did tweet this out along with some slides showing off all of the different figures and different things that took place in August. And you can see here it says the highest August dollar sales for a hardware platform in US history. Just outright, just for a hardware platform, the highest August dollar sales. The dollar sales of Nintendo Switch exceeded the August 2008 sales of the Nintendo Wii. I want to tell you right now, 2008, right, that span between 2008 and 2009 was when the Wii was selling like absolute mad. It was crazy back then, and the Switch is outselling it. That is crazy. August 2020 unit sales of Nintendo Switch more than doubled the August 2019 total. That was last year when there were quite a few games out last year, right? I mean, think of like Astral Chain, of course, that dropped around that time in August and all this, but people look back at last year as just more things coming out and more things happening for the Switch than this year. Of course, now we know we have the Mario All-Stars Collection coming up this Friday, and then a new Zelda game, all of this, right? Pikmin, and probably Pokemon DLC. But like last year, a lot of things were happening, right? Pokemon, of course, and all this. But they're selling more now. A lot of that has to do, yes, with Animal Crossing. But I have to say, every time I go to the store, whether it's a Walmart or Target, I don't ever see Switch systems. So either they're selling really, really well, or it's just they don't stock them around me. I don't know. I haven't seen a Switch in a long time in stores. But according to these charts here and these slides, they must be selling out, and I just never catch them. It's very possible. Animal Crossing seems to be sold out at times, even at some of these locations as well. And then when the Mario 3D All-Stars Collection hits, it's going to get even crazier after this week. It's a limited release, so people are going to be rushing to pick these up. Also, we're going to talk a little bit about that later on in the show today, as they're already being spotted out in the wild. But yes, I had talked about previously the Switch passing the 3DS midway through next year. Realistically, there is a shot right now that the Switch, with some of the stuff we're hearing coming out for it, of course, right now, could pass it this holiday. By the end of December, we could be looking at numbers that Nintendo updates us with going into next year that it has already passed the 3DS. And that is ridiculous to think about. And no one would have thought about this after what happened with the Wii U. The Switch brought it back. They brought Nintendo back here with, I guess, just joining their handheld and their home console together as a hybrid. The concept really, really sells. And then, of course, if we go to next year and they really do have some sort of revision of some kind, we've already seen different colored Switch lights sell just because it's a different color. If you get a revision out there that is even still similar price, but it does have some kind of compelling upgrade to it, you might have people just buy another Switch all over again, and you have the same people getting multiple systems in their house once again. It's something that I feel is gonna really rocket the Switch past the Wii in no time flat. And as for the #1 game for the MPDs in August, here's the top 10 here. I'm just gonna go over the top game, I guess. It's Madden. It's Madden 21. All of the criticism and the review bombing and the frustrations around it, and it still is #1 in the US. I mean, why do you think EA doesn't really care that much? If you were EA right now and you put this game out and you know it wasn't great, because you look at it, it struggles badly. Glitches all over the place. There are spots where it looks like they just forgot to put team names, and it's all over the place, right? But if you put that out and it sold that well, would you put like a lot of time into fixing it and doing much else going forward other than like maybe a little gameplay addition here, a new mode here, update the rosters? Really, would you do a lot? Because I feel like I wouldn't if I was EA. It's like, oh, we're still topping charts. We're selling tons of copies. What do we have to do a lot? It's tough because I'm sure there is a large casual market that just buys the new football game because it's the new football game. But there probably are hardcore fans who still buy it, but they still are frustrated by the whole thing. So until they start seeing like the money stop coming in and their wallets take a hit, EA that is, I just don't see them putting a lot of time into, or if they get competition. But with that EA NFL deal and license marked up there, it's probably not going to happen anytime soon. Next up, let's talk about the PlayStation 5 and the production for the system leading up to launch. We had heard previously that Sony had moved their production numbers up to about 15 million after it was reported by Bloomberg and Takashi Mochizuki, but now it looks like they're going back down 4 million units to 11 million. That's going to be through the end of March. And I believe they share the same fiscal year schedule as Nintendo, so that would mark the end of their fiscal year that they're currently in. But let's go over here to Daniel Ahmed, where you can see it says Bloomberg reporting that Sony has had to cut PS5 production by 4 million units due to production yield issues with SoC. Original plan was to produce 15 million units by March 31st, 2021. Now only 11 million units may be produced due to the yield issue. Now to go on from there, Daniel Ahmed also commented that Sony is using air freight to ensure that PS5 can meet demand, supply enough units. The company has booked 60 flights from October to ship consoles to retailers. This supply is expected to last through the quarter. Air freight is faster than sea, but more expensive. Now I was a little surprised to hear about the idea of them flying system ins ahead of launch. We heard Nintendo did this, but this was like after launch when they were dealing with, the system selling out like crazy. And even Nintendo, I'm sure, went into the whole thing like, okay, let's be at least slightly conservative with our predictions here, and they massively undershot it. So they had to fly systems in for the Switch, just try to get there and make sure that there was stock. This is ahead of launch, which was weird. But then we hear about the idea of yields being poor on the SoC, and that's why they had to take production down 4 million units. That's a little concerning, but it also made me remember that during that Hot Chips presentation, through those different slides for even the Xbox Series X, which keep in mind, both console manufacturers are using AMD, it was mentioned that in the Series X slide that the chip itself was expensive because of poor yield on that SoC. Now, when they create these chips, they of course have a massive wafer and they go through all of the different dies, they test them, okay, which chip is good, which chip is bad, and then there's a certain percentage that they kind of have set up as the standard or something they expect to get out of it, and if it's not as much, then they're thinking, okay, there might be an issue here, or the design is bad or something. It's possible that they were predicting that they could get a better yield, and that's why they were going up to 15 million, and it did not pan out. Now they're dropping back down. Don't know if that's an AMD issue. Don't know if that's something that Sony maybe overshot. It's hard to say. This, of course, again, is being reported by Bloomberg with Takashi Mochizuki. So, I mean, they also reported originally that it had gone up, and now maybe it's going down. It's also kind of all over the place there, but people are now worried that the launch could be even harder to find a system. And I'll tell you now, if Sony really is flying systems in, there should be the typical amount of systems that you would expect to be there at launch, which is still going to be something you'll want to pre-order for, because even if they sell 1 million units in 24 hours, which I expect, right? First day, they'll have a report out. We sold a million units in 24 hours. That's something the Xbox One did, something the PS4 did. If the Xbox One did it, I think the PS5 can do it too, but it's still going to sell out. The issue we're going to run into here is into 2021, because remember, this is the report for the rest of the fiscal year for production, and I think the 4 million that would be missing would actually hurt them more on the back end rather than the front end for holiday. Also, one other note, if you look here, Takashi Mochizuki also tweeted something out alongside of this article, and it's something that will be answered tomorrow, right, during the PlayStation 5 event, but check this out. They say the full PS5 console may be priced as low as $449, while the slimmer digital-only version may dip below $400, according to Bloomberg intelligence analyst Masahiro Wakazuki. Would they really do the disc-based PS5 at $449 and have the digital one go down to $349? Those are weird numbers in the first place, so I don't really expect that. I feel like they're just going to do the basic, $499, $399, but what if they said, we'll cut it $50 because we can, but they're flying systems in, they're spending more money just on freight and transit. I'm still sticking with $499 and $399, but that would be quite shocking if the PlayStation 5 all digital really was only like $50 more than the Series S, because that would certainly throw a wrench into even Microsoft's plans with trying to have this really cheap box. And then they have the PS5 all digital that's more powerful than the Series S by a fair amount, and it's only $50 more. All I can tell you though, make sure you have your pre-orders in for the PS5 as soon as we find out when we can do it, because either way, it's going to go fast and it's gonna be hard to find during the holidays. Next up, let's talk about a rumor that popped up yesterday online and it was quickly disputed. Let's go over to Nebelian here, who summed it up very well. And it's actually coming from GamesBeat Decides podcast. That's hosted by Jeff Grubb. Make sure you check out Jeff Grubb over on Twitter. It says, rumor, Microsoft has been in talks to acquire Bungie multiple times, but they fell through each time due to Bungie's high price. What's really funny though is below that tweet, Pete Parsons replied simply, this is false. And yeah, Pete Parsons from Bungie might know a few things about what's going on over there with high-level talks. And there were rumors out there, I will say, and talk that Microsoft and Bungie had been talking about something high up the chain. Okay, that was always the thing going around behind the scenes, rumors kicking around. It seems strange that Microsoft would be looking to buy Bungie because I don't think Microsoft would then take Bungie and put them on Halo. 343 is on Halo. They've developed an entire engine for Halo now, the Slipstream engine or whatever. They've already done all of this work. They're most of the way through Halo Infinite. I don't think Bungie would just show up and say, we got this, you guys are good, head out. Bungie seems to want to do Destiny, and it makes them money, quite a bit of money. They have the deal now with Tencent to make another game. So the idea of Bungie having a high asking price wouldn't be too surprising, but I mean, there's also a chance that they're just saying, oh no, we haven't really explored or even gotten that far in it, but you know, there was a phone call at some point. Also the possibility that someone had heard something from someone in the office and there was gossip and they kicked it around and it made its way out of the office to someone and they said, whoa, Microsoft and Bungie are talking about maybe having an acquisition there. And it's hard to say, but there we go. We now know from Bungie that this is false. I think there's a lot of hope that it could happen because Bungie going back to Microsoft is something that a lot of Halo fans would like to see. But even if they did, I think they would just want to do Destiny or their own game and leave Halo to 343. And in our last bit of news, it's a bit of a heads up for anyone looking to pick up the Mario 3D All-Stars game this Friday. I've been getting a lot of messages, and I appreciate it from everyone who's done this, to let me know that Walmarts seem to be getting in a lot of copies of this game, okay? So keep that in mind. They're getting like 60, 70 copies of Mario All-Stars. You're going to want to check your local Walmart, it seems, because they're already stocking it on shelves. People are taking pictures of it. And the price is going to be $50. You can see an image here. It was posted up over on Reddit, and you can see, I mean, $49.94 for the Mario All-Stars, 3D All-Stars collection there, the box art and all. Right behind the glass. You're not gonna be able to buy it. This happened to me before at Walmart. You see it in the glass, you go up, you're like, I wanna pick that up. They take it to the register, and it's register locked. It won't go through. I've tried it 3 times now. So I even went by Walmart to see if they had it out. They didn't. Even then, they wouldn't sell it to me. But yes, make sure you go to Walmart, I guess, to save $10 on it. And I've already seen Amazon, of course, sell out. Someone else sent me a message that their Amazon order had been delayed, their pre-orders. So I guess if you want a backup plan, might be worth checking it out now. I mean, even go by to see if they have them in the glass, but it does at least seem that Walmart will have quite a few in stock. How long will they last though? Because it's limited, and you know some people might go in there looking for 10, 20 copies. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day, as you're seeing here. This is from Gail saying Nintendo is gonna sell Galaxy 2 as DLC. I don't think they're gonna sell Galaxy 2 as DLC, because the game is going to be delisted, that being the Mario 3D All-Stars collection, at the end of March. So there's no point in selling DLC to it when the game's not going to exist in, like 6 months after launch or whatever. It just doesn't make any sense to do that. Now, I think they could very well release Galaxy 2 as its own thing, maybe even next generation. Maybe they give it some time because next year would be the, we'd have the Zelda anniversary, right? And after that, we might be getting into territory where we start talking about a next generation Switch. So maybe they save Galaxy 2 for an even bigger bump, up to like maybe 4K. How crazy would Mario Galaxy 2 look in 4K if they really did get there with their next generation Switch? I'd kind of rather wait for that and just be its own release with maybe additions like they're doing with 3D World right now. It's something we can hope for, right? I don't think it's unlockable in 3D All-Stars. That's what a lot of people keep saying even after I did the video yesterday. I think they're just going to release it separately down the road, maybe even years from now. And ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit the like button, really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about today, whether it's Sony with their production issues, it seems, for the PlayStation 5. Are you concerned about being able to get one for the holidays, especially if you're not picking up at launch and you gotta wait a couple of weeks, maybe even a month after it comes out, right up to like Christmas Eve or something, trying to get it? Are you concerned about that stock maybe not being there at the time, and hey, resellers taking advantage of that? You can't wait for the $2,000 PlayStation 5s on eBay. And then also, what do you think about Nintendo's sales numbers right now? The figures they're putting up doubling last August, even beating out systems like the Wii, which was a smash success there. What do you think about that? Let me know down below, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.